Welcome to the Haunted Basement Studio, and in this episode we're going to talk Happy Death Day. And this is a slasher film with a twist where the final girl can't die, unlike the original slasher plots where the killer cannot die. So is this a genius move, and can they pull it off? Well, let's find out as I review Happy Death Day. And this movie stars Jessica Rothe as Tree, our main character, and it is directed by Christopher Landon and produced by Blumhouse. And this movie had a budget of $4.8 million and it made $125 in the box office. So Blumhouse can make very profitable movies, but can they make good ones? So here we go with the plot. So after a night of drinking, Tree, our final girl, wakes up after a one-night stand with Carter. As her phone rings, it's her father, and she just dismisses it. And then she leaves Carter in the dorm room and heads back to her sorority house, where she ends up meeting with her roommate, Laura, who hands her a cupcake and says, "Happy birthday." She's like, "How did you find out about this?" "Oh, my driver's license." "Oh, such an ugly picture." But she just throws the cupcake away, and Tree realizes that she's late for class. And then so she hurries up and goes to class, where she meets up with the professor, Gregory Butler, whom she is having an affair with. And then at lunch, Carter returns her bracelet to her as he accidentally spills chocolate milk all over her. Later that night, while Tree is on her way to the party, she is lured into a tunnel by a music box, and she is killed by a figure wearing a mask of the school mascot. Tree immediately wakes back up in Carter's room, and now she's believing that she has deja vu. And as the day goes on, when she makes it to the tunnels, she doesn't go down the tunnel and she makes it to the party. But there again, she gets killed. Tree wakes up again in Carter's bed, and she realizes that she's in a time loop. And this time she barricades herself in her room. But the killer is in their closet, and she gets killed again for the third time. Now she realizes what she needs to do. She needs to stop the killer and stop this Groundhog Day loop. And what I like about this film is that every time that she is dying, her body shows evidence of recovery from multiple trauma injuries, indicating that she has retained physical damage from all of her previous deaths. So she can die. She's like a cat with 9 lives, but she did say in this movie that she had died 16 times. So the death that we are on now is after she gets the news from the hospital that she has been traumatized so many times. So we're at the hospital where the killer shows up, but she escapes the killer and she gets in the car from the doctor and she speeds away, but she gets pulled over by the cop, and she has a brilliant idea of telling the police officer that she is drunk and high on pills and weed and all sorts of drugs so she can get arrested. However, the killer shows up and runs the police officer over. And then he sets the car on fire and it blows up. And she wakes up in Carter's dorm room. Tree now convinces Carter of the predicament that she is in, demonstrating the knowledge of the day's events that lie ahead. And now Tree admits that she has been harboring self-loathing from tremendous trauma of losing her mom 3 years ago, and she has been taking it out on her father. Carter and Tree now see a local news of John Toombs, a serial killer that is being held at the campus hospital. And then Tree has the realization that John Toombs must be her killer. And so she goes to the hospital before he can escape to tell them. But by the time he gets there, he's already escaped and he's gonna kill Trees. But Carter comes in and saves the day, but gets killed in the process. And now John Toombs is chasing Tree up the bell tower. And as they get there, Tree beats his ass with a crowbar. But then she realizes that Carter is dead. And if she goes to sleep and the next day passes, Carter will be dead forever. So she runs up the bell tower and puts a noose around her neck and jumps off. And she says, right before she jumps off to John Tomb, "I'll see you tomorrow." Snap! And then she wakes up in Carter's bed. The next day, she knows what's going down. And so now the movie is hitting on all cylinders. And she is confident in solving the murder. So she proceeds throughout her day. And she ends the affair with the Dr. Butler. And then she meets with her father and reconciles. That night she goes to the hospital and traps John Toombs and kills him. She is relieved and free, and she celebrates her birthday with Carter in his room, and she eats the cupcake that Lori gave her. Tree now wakes up in Carter's room and she's still stuck in the loop. Horrified, she returns to her room intended to run away, where Lori offers her a cupcake again as she lights it. Tree realizes in all the previous loops that she has never once eaten a cupcake until last night, so she must have died in her sleep. Tree realizes that Lori is the true killer. Lori has been poisoning the cupcakes, but she has failed to have Tree eat it, so she used her job as a nurse at the hospital to frame Toombs for Tree's murder. Tree threatens now to take the cupcake to the police, but Lori attacks her, where Lori admits to having an affair with Dr. Butler, but Butler preferred Tree's fine badge instead of hers, and so she got all jealous, and this is the reason why she wanted to kill her. And now as they start fighting, Tree slams the cupcake in Lori's mouth and then kicks her out the window, and she falls 2 stories, lands hard on the concrete floor with that girl with her headphones just sitting there. Pretty much the end of the movie. And so now you made it to the video where I'm going to just be talking about the review of Happy Death Day. Man, I never even seen this film. It came out in 2017. And when I first, I knew about it, and I remember watching the trailer, I'm like, oh man, that's gonna be stupid. And I never watched it. And was I so wrong? This movie kicked ass. I loved it. I thought it was so fun. And the acting from our final girl, Jessica Rothenberg, was absolutely amazing. She is definitely a great actress. This movie would not have worked without Jessica Roth's role in it and her skills as an actress. And I did hear or do know that there is a part 2 of this movie, and I am definitely going to have to check that one out. I haven't even watched the trailer of it yet, and I will not watch the trailer. I'm going to watch that movie just like I went into this one blind as hell, and it blew my mind. So there is only one nitpick about this movie, and you already know what it's going to be. It is the mask. Okay, I did not like the baby mask at all. I understand how they brought it in with being the mascot of the college's, team. That mask, I understood that. And then looking in the pre-production of this show, Christopher Landon actually liked that mask because his wife was pregnant at the time. So he was kind of being terrifying becoming a dad at the first time, So when he saw that mask, he wore it on like in the studio and scared some of his assistants. And so that's why he's like, oh yeah, this is the mask. And then also with the mask, a positive about the mask though is the creator of this mask was the creator of the Scream mask. So like the people that brought that Scream mask to life brought this mask to life. So it ties in, this movie kind of ties in with Scream. So that's pretty cool. So we are going to get into my final ranking right now. All right, man, my final ranking of Happy Death Day. Man, screw it, dude. We're going to give it a 9 out of 10. Yes, a 9 out of 10. It was damn awesome movie. And whenever this movie is on, I will watch it no matter what point it is in. Like, I can go to whatever act and I can watch it and not have to worry about it. This movie actually was awesome as hell. It blew my mind. I am so pissed off at myself for not watching this movie when it first came out and not even watching the sequel. So I'm so behind the 8 ball. I'm in a Haunted Basement studio. I love horror movies. I love slasher movies, but this one got by me. And with Jason Blumhouse, this is how they were able to make Halloween and The Exorcist, is because movies like this, when Blumhouse is on their game, they make movies like Happy Death Day. They make movies like The Conjuring, all right? These kick-ass movies like this. Happy Death Day was fun as hell. Loved it. Man, I can't believe it was the first time that I watched it. So I want to thank my brother, Jimmy, for recommending this one to me. And I should have watched it before then. Man, so thank you all for joining me, Brett Bromberg, Triple B in a Haunted Basement studio. And you guys, you remember, you keep it horror. Laters!